Hello, Red Future again. One of the things I come across most when arguing with capitalists is the collapse of the Soviet Union and how it means communism doesn't work at all. This comes in multiple forms. The typical YouTube intellectual brings it up something similar to this. Oh yeah, communism works. That's why the Soviet Union and most communist countries' economy collapsed, resulting in death and famine. Moron. Communism can't work, it never works, and all it does is cause famine and suffering. Really? Yes, communism can't work. That's why the Soviet Union rose from nothing twice, challenged US domination across the world for 46 years, made the West tremble with fear of Ivan the Terrible marching down Europe and wiping them out. That's why the Soviet Union beat the US into space, was the second most powerful economy in the world at the time, and was able to destroy 90% of the German military in World War II when they had shit for a military just 2 decades prior. Look, there are a number of things you can criticize the Soviet Union for. Communism isn't one of them. Not to mention the Soviet economy never collapsed. Ever. The economy did not collapse until after they switched to capitalism. Was the Soviet economy having problems? Absolutely. But it never came crashing down. The Soviet Union's economy was stagnating. The reason was how their centrally planned economy was ran. It became so bogged down from the size of the economy that it had to manage, it couldn't meet all the needs. Thus, people weren't getting the supplies they needed to survive. This is, however, completely different from how a capitalist economy goes through problems. The capitalist economy goes through boom and bust cycles. Recessions occur every so many years. The one we have now is just a particularly horrible one. When a capitalist economy goes into recession, economic activity drops. The problem then is how to get it back up. In the Soviet economy, their economic activity didn't drop, it just wasn't proceeding in the areas needed, due to the lack of the ability to manage all the demands of the Soviet people. Factories were producing as much as ever, farms were producing food, homes were being built, hospitals functioned. But how much of what was needed and where it was needed became increasingly difficult to determine because of the sheer size of the economy. It functioned fine. Determining what to function was the issue. That's why I support Mikhail Gorbachev's attempt to fix the economy. However, I don't support how he tried to fix the economy. Moron. His idea was to put elements of capitalism to the economy. And from there, the rest was history. But even then, the Soviet economy never collapsed until it had switched completely into capitalism after the Soviet Union politically collapsed. Hopefully this clears some typical misconceptions up and gives you a clearer way to try and get it through some of these people's skulls about the lies they're living in. If you like what I'm putting out, please give me some feedback. What do you think about the Soviet Union? Better yet, how do you think it could have been done better?